Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. Thank you and you're welcome. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 proven ways to shatter your weaknesses. 3 proven ways to shatter your weaknesses. To damage your weaknesses. All right, let me share it now. Let me tell a few people we are in the room. Let me share it. Let me tell a few people we're in the room so they are able to join us. Would you be kind to do that? That's okay. If it's possible with you, just let them know. It is our lunch time out. Lunch time, 30 minutes to, kind of grab some wisdom. Remind ourselves of some wisdom that makes sense, more than sense. Some reminder, some new, whatever it is to you. Needful. Yes, I came in early, just a bit early. Yes. It's good time to share, to tell 1 or 2 other persons on how to shatter your weaknesses. Almost like I was thinking of saying how to damage your weakness, how to mess your weakness up, and then try to be better at it. Please don't say, no, I know how to handle my weaknesses already. No, I'm going to tell you some. I'm going to give you some insights today that you will find very useful. We all have weaknesses, don't we? I know some people are just joining. Yes, you're just coming in. You're welcome. Fine. Thank you. Yes, your weakness can damage your business. Your weakness can damage your home. Your weakness can shatter your career. Your weakness can actually do damage to your whole life and destiny. And listen, before you start thinking, oh, Hannah, I don't want to talk about my weakness. I just want to, after all, people have said sometimes it's better not to look to your weakness. Focus on your strength. Fantastic. It's good to focus on your strength, but you need to reckon with your weaknesses, because if you don't reckon with your weaknesses will reckon with you. In any case, it's there with you. It's there with you. They look you like this. Or more, they watch you and they wait for you. If you don't know it, there are ways it will pull you down. So just 3 hacks. And these 3 hacks is proven, or it's been proven over centuries that this work. If you have a weakness, you know how that takes you down. It's your limitation. It's your barrier. It's your burden. It's the things you don't like to do. It's the things you don't want to do. Your weaknesses are they are the hurdles. And God is so amazing. Everybody has them. Yes, thank you. Everybody has these weaknesses. So even the people who are very rich, they also do cry. The people you're looking to, oh, I'm shadowing this woman. I'm shadowing this man. I think that this is just the best. They have weaknesses. They all do. Everyone has. God is a fantastic God. He left us all with certain all of us, we carry baggage. We all carry baggage. Forget it. And now, I want to try and see if I can skew towards career and business as much as possible. And today, like I said, I just want to give you 3 ways, 3 things to do to defeat that weakness of yours, whatever weakness it is. And I'm going to be practical. Let me tell you a story. As we await others to join, and we know others are going to they're going to listen to this later. I tell you a story. It's a story that happened so many years ago. All right. So there was this man. If you take it to be like in Nigeria, he will be, those days, those olden days of the British were colonies to the British people. So this person was working with the British people. They are one of those Nigerians they took early in the days to work with them, British, okay, when they colonized us. But this man was very rich, okay? But this man had a personal weakness. Are you following my story? Very rich, sitting with the British people and all of that as much as possible. But he was a diminutive person. Who is a diminutive person? Somebody who is not big in stature. Okay? Follow this story. And there was an incident, or an incident that was going to happen. The governor, British Prime Minister, was going to visit Nigeria. Okay? You're following my story, right? And then he was going to visit Nigeria, and a lot was going on in that preparation. For some reason, this man was not put as part of the, the entourage. And he really wanted to meet with this prime minister. He was a man, diminutive nature. Are you still following my story? Yes. What did he do? He knew the day this man was going to arrive. I mean, the prime minister who arrived. And what this guy did was to, the crowd, he went ahead of the crowd. You're following the story, right? He went ahead of the crowd. Just imagine that the event was going to hold at Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos, if you're in Nigeria. And then this man went ahead of the team to Tafawa Balewa Square. When he got to the square, he took a position. He took a, like a frame. He took a pillar. He stood at a place where there was nobody who would recognize he was there. He didn't just do that. He went with a flag, a green, white flag, Nigerian flag, big one. And then he started, flagging. He started waving the flag and all. To the extent that when the governor came, he was outstanding for two reasons. One, he was standing on a platform that was higher than any other person. Number two, he had the flag in his hand, flagging. And for that reason, of course, he got the attention. And then the governor asked for him and all of that. And then and then they realized that, oh my God, this guy should even be sitting with the governor in the first place. Blah, blah, blah. Story, my story. Let me hold it and then tell you 3 things to note about your weakness. I said, number 1, we know everybody has weaknesses. Number 2, the knowledge of your weakness, recognizing what it is without dwelling on it, is the beginning of your salvation. Is the beginning of your wisdom, because you know what it is and breaking it down. Number 3, when you know your weakness, it's easier for you to know what to do, not to fall into those errors and things that can stall others. All right? Other people may crumble because they don't reckon with those weaknesses. But when you reckon with it, you know how to go ahead of it. But it will require effort. It will require effort, because if you don't put in effort, you don't get much in life. All right? Very important. Let me break it down for us. Thank you. Yes. Recognize, don't dwell. Thank you. Yes. Recognize, don't dwell. That's your point. Thank you, my dear person who's made that comment. Very important. Okay. So let me push further a bit. All right? All right? There are two, I already mentioned to you that there are 2 schools of thought. One says, focus on your strength. Another says, don't even look at your weakness at all. I want to help you to balance. Please focus on your strength, leverage your strength, recognize your weakness, don't dwell on it, but recognize it. Because if you don't recognize it, it's an albatross. It will take down the strength and mess up the strength. I'm coming. Just go ahead. All right. So in the story I told you, which is actually very similar to a story I'm sure that is going on in somebody's head here, to say, oh, somebody was a short man, he was a rich man, he was a tax collector, and he needed to see somebody, an influential person who was visiting town, and he didn't know how to go about it, but he thought of an idea. He ran ahead of the crowd. When he ran ahead, he went and climbed on a tree, and on the strength of that, he was able to see the influential man, and the influential man was able to see him, recognize him, reckoned with him, brought him down, and he had, his life changed completely. Until tomorrow we are speaking about this man who, despite or defiling or messing up his weakness, he was able to get what many other persons didn't get. So what was the story? What are the 3 big legs that can help you take care of your life, your weaknesses, so they won't become baggages that slow you down and mess up your strength? Weakness can mess up strength. Weakness can mess up strength. I'm telling you, if you don't handle them, they can mess up the strength and override the strength. Okay, let me stay first and say the 3 things this man did in that story. I've given you 2 stories now. What I told you, same story, but I've put it in 2 perspectives. Yeah, if you listen first, I took it from Prime Minister visiting Nigeria, right? And the other, I told you a story of an influential man. And if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. That's fine. Let's talk about number 1 thing this man did was he went ahead of the crowd. So when you know your weakness, you need to go ahead. You need to go ahead of others. Because we are not the same people. We are not the same. We may be smiling the same. We're in the same office. We're in the same family. We're in the same mosque. We're in the same church. We're in the same community. We're in the same environment. We are not the same. We are different people. What we carry is different. we are shaped by our natural things God put to us by our DNA from our parents, what we acquired from our parents. That is what we inherited. There are inherited weaknesses. You acquired it. Now baggage you carry come from heaven. God knew about it, and it is what it is. That's who you are. You also came with strength, but that weakness is there, right? There are also weaknesses that you acquire by the thing where you use your hand to do. And for warfare, that's what Yoruba call it, which is your hand. Pull. There's some weaknesses and baggages you carried by yourself by reason of you didn't know any better, and you acquired it. Acquired syndrome. Okay, you carry that baggage, right? And it's there, and there's nothing anybody can. You are the owner of the baggage. You are the one who knows how to handle it. Okay. Sorry, I had to increase my AC. All right. Okay. So you need to learn to run ahead of the crowd. Okay. Pardon me. Just a second. You must run ahead of the crowd. What does it mean to run ahead of the crowd? I don't know if you remember. As I was writing this, I remember a story when we were in the university or even in secondary school. I remember there was a lady. She wasn't very good at all. In fact, across all subjects, she know no book well. Some of us were no book small. I wasn't the very best in class, but I wasn't an averager. I was more, at least top quarter, So this lady, at least one of them, two of them like that. But I remember one of them very well. She would always come and say, Hannah, why call me? You see me, I schooled in public school almost, so forget about it. She would say, Hannah, why come? It means, Hannah, come and teach me. Hannah, why come? Come and teach me this thing. We were speaking Yoruba in those days. We spoke vernacular in school. Oh, not now that people speak English. We spoke Yoruba. Okay. Anyway, do you know at some point, I would say, I don't have time. She would say, I'm coming to your house on weekend. Saturdays. Some Saturdays, this guy will come to our house. I'm working. I'm also teaching her the little I know. I remember Ad Maths that time. This lady was a science student. She will come to the house. The little I know, I will teach her. Guess what? She managed to pass. This lady doesn't wait until exam time before she starts reading, because she knew that she no get head for book or book for head for book. She started. That is what it is to run ahead. Running ahead of the crowd means all of them are doing like this, but because you know yourself, that is, you reckon that I know this weakness, but I'm not standing there. But let me overdo, overrun, overbeat. That weakness, you run ahead. Do you understand? So she will come, and of course it meant she was investing more time. She was making effort. Exactly what that rich man did by running ahead, running ahead of the crowd to do what? To try and see, to stay with the master or whoever he wanted to see. Now, if you know your weakness, you can run ahead. Sometimes what is pursuing you is not physical weakness or weakness that is your weakness. It's weakness that is coming from the environment. Environmental weakness can be a baggage to you. For example, in my life, when I was growing up, my parents were poor. I mean poverty. Do you understand what it is to be poor? To be poor such that sometimes the children don't have food to eat. And it's like we just manage, if there's one food, 7 or 8 children will manage and just eat small and all of that. Do you know that situation, it wasn't a weakness to me directly, but it became an acquired weakness to me, because the thing used to pain me, because when I go to my friends' houses where they were rich, they always had food to eat. Why is it that we don't have food to eat? Why is it that in our own house is manage the day we get only one and all? So that became a weakness. So it was an environmental, a positional, because I'm in that position, because I'm in that environment, because it's a situational weakness. I found myself there, but I needed to do something about it. So you can be in a weakness that is not just by your doing, but you acquire it, you are facing because it's environmental. It's just like we talk about the society in Nigeria now. There are things exacting on us and making people who know how to do things like they don't know how to do things. Right? So you must find a way to say, how do I go ahead? How do I climb ahead? Climbing ahead means doing things ahead of others, while others are slowing and sleeping, and still you are thinking and you are acting, you're doing something. Do you have to learn something now? Is there a course you need to take again? Do you need to make an investment and pay some small money? Do you need to intern with somebody? Do you need to add something to what you are doing? Recently, I was thinking to say, are you sure people shouldn't even think of trading? All these of us who are doing, what do you call it now? Intellectual thing and all of that. Is there something else you need to add that can be giving you small money? At least that will take care of your food. Don't you understand? So reckon with it. Don't dwell there, but see how you can run ahead of it. That's number one thing. Okay, this is how you are converting your weakness to your strength. And remember, we have said weakness is not only your physical weakness. It can be acquired weakness. It can be environmental, situational, positional weakness. You know, it can be it's anything that just stands at a blockage, as a barrier. Sometimes you don't have control over it, yeah, because it's general. But God has put something in you to make you run over. You can run ahead, just like that man did, you know, who ran ahead because he wanted to see someone and he went and ran ahead. That is one way to look at it. The other thing, yeah, and I've told you about how people can run ahead. You go and meet those who know better than you. Don't be shy, okay? Ask them. Number two thing that this person did was he climbed. The first story I told you that when he got to the stadium, that he took a position, that there was a platform. He took the most outstanding platform. In this other story, this man ran and climbed a tree. What does it mean to climb? You know, there is a tree that everybody saw. The pillar was there ahead for everybody, but it was going to take one person to climb it. Are you following me? In my life, for example, education was the pillar. Education was the tree. Because even though my parents were poor, like I said, my parents kept saying, "No, we wish we were educated." My mom would just keep lamenting to say, "Look, I wish I went to school. I wish I went to school." My father would be like, you know, maybe if he did more than standard 6, his life would have been better. So as a small girl, I knew that this poverty, one of the roots is education, or one of the pillars. That if I'm able to climb on that pillar, my life will be different. Because I used to really feel for my parents. If you don't know what it is, I'm sure some of you are parents that you know what it is like when you cannot feed your child. Just think about it. Your child is hungry. Don't let me say feed your child. I mean, let's say your child wants something. Say, "Mom, Dad, can you please take me to so and so? Buy this for me." And you look at your purse. You're like, "Oh, I cannot." But sometimes you really wish you could afford it. You could spoil that child. You could do that. Do you understand? So you need to, for every one of us, for every of your weakness or what is paining you, because your pain can bring your gain. Should actually be your gain if you do the right thing. There is a pillar. You need to pray. You need to really think and pray and just see, what is that pillar that once I climb on it, my life will change. It will tackle this weakness I'm going through. For me, it was education. And because my parents said it, then it became, I knew it. So I knew I had to read. So in secondary school, ladies and gentlemen, when others were having boyfriend, do you think I had boyfriend? In fact, any boy that came my way, I can tear you and I can bite you. Because I will see you that you want to spoil my life. You want me to continue this thing that I've seen with my parents. This hunger, you want to continue that lie? So I wasn't having boyfriend. I wasn't doing those things then. Because something was pushing me. Your weakness can push you. And that's correct. When the weakness pushes you, is a correct thing. That's a correct perspective to weakness. It shouldn't stall you. It should push you. It shouldn't make you sit back and say there's nothing. It should propel an anger in you to say, guess what? I'm going to overthrow you, this weakness. I'm going to undo you. I'm going to shatter you. I'm going to ride on you. I'm going to make you a story. I'm going to tell the story of how I quenched you. I shattered. So that anger. So I read with anger. So you can imagine in the university, I will read with anger. I will party you. Leave that thing. I will go to parties. But I know how to do my thing. After party, I will come back and read and do my assignments. Do you understand? So that's the other point. To shatter your weakness, you must identify the tree, the pillar. There is a pillar, one particular pillar. You get it all. You're fine. Do you understand? Climbing is not easy. To climb it is not easy. But you must climb it, okay? It's not easy now. Okay, you can imagine that short man, the story of the short man. Because he was rich, maybe he had pot belly, and he'll be running to boot, because he wanted to climb the tree. But look at the joker. Not everybody can climb a tree. But this guy, his legs were short. So inside your weakness, God already put some strength that can make you do things that others that have other strengths cannot attain. I don't know if you're getting this point. The short boom boom man, was able to climb a tree that tall men who have long legs cannot climb because their legs too long. But the short leg, if he quickly go on the tree and climb. What that means is inside your weakness are certain inherent strengths that if you get it, you can use it. And that's what I'm saying. If you convert it, instead of staying and seeing it as a weakness, if you see what it can do for you and you get that pillar, there's always a pillar. Once you get that pillar, it can be a leverage for you in life. That pillar, let me tell you, one way you can get the pillar is your pain point. What is bringing you pain now? Look at it. What is giving you pain now? You must identify. That's the third point. You must identify. You must know what it is. Put your hand on it. Once you put your hand on it, then the third point is you must begin to get information. Information. Thank you, those of you who follow me. Thank you, those of you, who follow me every Thursday. You're following some of these things. Get counsel. Get counsel from the right people. Get a mentor. Get people to, you can shadow. Get especially people who have gone through, who have your similar weakness, kind of, who have then come over it, who have graduated. When you speak with them, you will know how they overcame that point, and it can be that pillar you are looking for. Okay, yes, your pain point is a pillar. It's always a pillar. If I tell the story of my life, I tell you what, the most important victories of my life, I'm telling you, or the big things that happen in my life, they came from pain. If you think about your life, you will see it's the same thing. I think that God just naturally allows us go through because he knows that some things are hidden there. Until the thing shook you. You will find an answer to it now. You'll find let me tell you, some of the businesses we get as a company, comes out of, oh my God, how are we going to break into this organization? Pain, isn't it? What are they doing? They already have agencies that are doing everything for them. How do we get their attention? The head will begin to think. The pain will prepare you to think out something. And as you think of something, you think, before you know it, connection, before you know it, something. I have a time to sit with you. I have a time to know, hey, what about this? As I'm suggesting and giving you ideas from my pain, and I'm shooking it here. One of them, we most times, at least 20% of the times, one will be, okay, hey, I think that may be it. Go on, maybe in that direction. Why not? Let's take that one further. Sometimes that little thing you took further from the area of your pain and weakness becomes something that becomes a big tree that then begins to give you money and resources. Okay, so number 3, you must know, get information about the situation, get the right people, get counsel from the right people, observe them. I was saying somewhere that, I never got a mentor early in life, and it was a disservice, to be honest. If I look back in my life, like, it was a error. It was an error. I should have gotten a mentor or mentors earlier, especially in career. In those days, I didn't see so many women that were in brand management. There were not many at that top level. So men were many. So men were my friends and all of that, my senior colleagues and all. But I didn't have any woman that I was close to, that I could share some personal things with in career. Are you with me? But some other smart women coming behind, I will just meet them. Years later, they will say, Hannah Oyebanjo, I know you. I'm like, you know me? How? I've been following you. I'm like, following me? I don't. That's called shadow mentoring. You shadow someone who's gone ahead. In fact, I met one of them who is a big lady today, and I'm so proud of her. And she says, look, everything you did, I did. When you cough on Instagram, there was no Instagram then. I think it was Facebook, or maybe I was doing something in the industry. Whatever you did, I just did. Whatever, if you said you ever read a book, I will go and read it. I was following you. I was nibbling and drawing from you. And I'm so glad, and I'm like, wow, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. They're smart. Who are you following? Let me begin to round up here. Please, if you are a man or a woman, and there's nobody who can caution you, who can direct you, who can counsel you, who can advise you, who can talk to you, then there's a problem. You have a problem. Your weaknesses sometimes are not open to you. They are open to other people who can see it. I hope you get that. Sometimes they are shielded because they might not be the very obvious ones. And that's why feedback is very important. You must get feedback. Those who tell you the truth are your friends. Don't hate them. They may not say it the right way. Agreed. They need to say it in the right way. But don't feel bad that somebody is telling you that, you are disrespectful. And you're like, me disrespectful? Me disrespectful? No, it's a weakness. Work on it. I tell you once, one of my Ogas then, Oga is the MD of the company. I was even the director. We went for a program somewhere. It was outside Nigeria. And it was a feedback time, like an appraiser kind of a thing. And he says, if I remember vividly, we were walking by the beach side somewhere. By the beach. He just looked at me and he said, Hannah, you are good in one or two, but you know what? You are planless. Your planning skills are poor. It was like he used hammer to hit my head. Me? Because I used to think that I was very good in planning and all of that. But he said, and I felt bad. I didn't like it. When you don't like a feedback, it means that feedback is most likely good. Think about it. And later I simmered it and then realized that it isn't that I was planless, but my planning skills were not as great as they should be. Because this man himself was a #1 planner of my life. I've never seen anyone like that. Everything. So his personality was the type that the consensus type that, the perfectionist. He was a perfectionist working with me, who is an adventurer. Somebody, so he saw many gaps and loopholes in the things I was doing, but once he told me, and if in the career, when your guy gives you a feedback, it's in your interest to take it. Otherwise, you're not going to go far. So I had to take it and pay more attention. It has helped me till tomorrow. But was he right? Yes. Because now I can look back and know that really by my nature, I can be scatter. But like I said, inside that scatter, there's an arrangement in my head. There's a plan inside that scatter. I can tell you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how I can pull it all together. Even though it looks like it's scattered. But by nature, it may look like, you are handling 1 million things. How are you doing that? But in my head, there's a way I can do this now, do that. So sometimes people say, Hannah, how do you manage? How do you cope? I understand it because I'm the one carrying it. I know. Therefore, people like me can be last minute. Hello. Can be last minute. Because I'm running back to back on a million and one things, it can be 10 minutes to the time. I'll still face it. Engraced, I'll still deliver it. Move on to another one. Do it, engrace, deliver it, and all of that. You must know who you are. We round up by saying today that as we speak about your weakness should not stall you in life. Okay? Your strengths are what you should write down a lot more. But know the weakness. And there are some weaknesses that you only don't have to know. You need to reckon with them a bit and don't let them stall you, but go ahead of them by running ahead of the weakness. Like I said, you want to do exam. You know your brain is not photographic. It's not like Deji zone, or it's not like Mark zone. Mark that we read in 3 hours and he will enter exam room and pass. You know you are not like that. Start early. It's called running ahead of your weakness. Okay? I don't know why I want to talk about this one. You know you have a weakness with the opposite sex. Come on now. Come on, Hannah. Come on. Get there. Should I get there? I'm rounding up. I should get there. Thank you for giving me the love bubble. You have a weakness with finance. And they want to make you the treasurer. Akakbo, as in, they collect money. You be like Judas, so. You know you have a weakness. Tell them sorry. No. You don't have to tell them. Sorry, that one, I cannot do it. Don't. You have a weakness with women. Fine babes. And you are working in the midst of women, a lot of them. Run ahead. Involve your wife in some things. When you have some outings, tell your wife, pull her along by all means. If she doesn't want to come, report her to me. You have my freedom. I want to deal with women, some women that are not encouraging you guys. That will say, I want to stick with my children. I don't want to go out. I want to tie rapper. Report them to me. Let me deal with them for you. She must do her pancake, get her wig, and follow you to that meeting. Otherwise, crash has come. Reckon with your weakness. Run ahead of your weakness. Once you do that, your soaring becomes clear. It becomes consistent. Gradually, before you know it. All right? Okay? I still have 4 minutes, and these 4 minutes must be useful. If you have any question, throw it in there. What have we discussed today? 3 major ways to defeat your weaknesses. And what was the number one thing? Yes, somebody said like Judas. Yes. What was the number one thing we do? Number one, I said you must reckon with the weakness. Know what it is, okay? Run ahead of the weakness. That's the first thing. Run ahead. Thank you, my brother. Run ahead. Number 2, we say climb the tree. There is something that is a pillar for you inside that weakness. Once you recognize what it is, climb it. Nobody will know you ever had that weakness, okay? Number 3, you must have information. You must have counsel. You must have somebody you can learn from. You must have somebody you can learn from. A mentor whose book you can read, whose program you can attend. These things work, honestly. I hope you know that the God who created all of us, those weaknesses he gave you because he knew that if you reckon with them and do some of these things, you will not see your end. No. So don't beat the weakness too bad. Know that there are levers for you to climb to the next stage. Okay? I've shared some of my weaknesses. What you're going through now is a weakness. It doesn't have to be physical weakness. That hunger, joblessness that you are going through now is a weakness. But it will turn around as you do the right things. And I know that as you're doing the right, don't worry, keep following me. I want to start a series on entrepreneurship. SMEs, businesses and all. Career people will learn from it a lot. In fact, next week, most likely, I think I want to discuss something about career and business. The similarities and the conflicts. And what you should know about both. Because if you are in career today, no worry, soon you are going to come out and be an entrepreneur. If you are an entrepreneur today, you must understand what it is to be a career person. If you must have both legs. And I'm so glad I've done both. I've worked with big companies, worked with small companies, worked for my own company. I have failed. I've done well. So I want to share with you. So next week, let me start the series on career and business. The hooks and also the conflicts. And how you must know both. What you must know about both of them to keep your life together. All right. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope it was useful. Yes. Thank you. I catch the well done. And I thank you all. Thank you. All right. If you've not subscribed to this channel, if you don't like it, that's fine. Follow me. And we'll see you again next week, Thursday. Keep it and make it a date. So thank you. Have a good weekend loading. And remember, deal with that weakness. Climb that pillar. Mess up that weakness and go for gold. Thank you and bye-bye. Thank you. Good afternoon. Yes. Bye-bye.